welcome to Moonpreneur podcast, where we spotlight young innovators and their amazing tech projects. Today, we have a student who created something super useful, a smart little system that checks the temperature and gives helpful reminders, like turning on the AC when it gets too hot. Let's welcome Ashrith, the creator of a clever temperature sensing assistant built with the Microbit. It's a pleasure to have you here, Ashrith. How have you been?
I've been good. I'm feeling excited to share my project with the crowd who's going to view my podcast.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear, and I'm so excited to dive into this conversation with you. So, what inspired you to create a project that tracks the temperature and reminds you to turn on the AC?
I thought it would be cool to implement a sensor in the Microbit into our day-to-day life, which will give us reminders like turn on the AC, turn off the AC, you're fine. Reminders like that I think will make our day-to-day life much easier.
Wow, that's such a smart reason to build this, and that's exactly how the best inventions are born. So, can you walk us through how your microbit reads the temperature and what happens when it gets too hot?
So the Microbit reads the temperature by using a special sensor on the back, and that sensor detects a very high temperature. It can show the string turn on the AC, turn off the AC. It can show that, so then you can use an if and else block to program it into showing the string, turn on the AC, turn off the AC, you're fine, turn on the heater, stuff like that.
Okay, so that's a great breakdown, and you really understand how everything connects, right? I'm impressed. So, you have got a great message system. So, how did you code the part that tells you to turn on AC when it's hot?
I used a variable, and inside that variable is stored the block temperature. So if the temperature block gets too hot in an if and else block, the if and else block will show a condition saying if the temperature is higher than 24 degrees Celsius, it will show turn on the AC, too hot.
Okay, so that's some clever coding, and you basically turned your microbit into a tiny weather assistant. So, what's your favorite part of working with sensors like this?
My favorite part is they're very flexible and they're easy to work with so that you can make different projects and experiment with different things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's like giving your project superpowers, right? You really made the tech come alive. So, what did you learn from this project?
I learned that it's very fun to work with sensors, and these sensors can help in your day-to-day life a lot.
Yes, that's such a valuable lesson, and projects like this teach you more than just code. So, do you think coding real world solution like this can help more people stay comfortable or safe?
Yes, because it gives a good reminder when to turn on the AC or when to turn it off or even when to turn on the heater. It's
Exactly.
for everyone at home.
Mm-hmm. Right. Little projects like this can make a huge difference. So, what was the biggest challenge you faced while coding this project, and how did you solve it?
The biggest challenge was to find the range to set the temperature sensor and find out when I needed to show the string hot, turn on the AC. And how I solved it was by thinking about when we're comfortable, end up thinking about when we're non-comfortable, and I used the range when we're not comfortable to show string, turn on AC.
That's the spirit. Every challenge is just a puzzle waiting to be solved. So, if someone else wanted to build something similar, what advice would you give them to get started?
I would give them the advice. First, find out what range you want to set your temperature settings. Then the rest of the project will be easier to do and complete.
Okay, that's fantastic advice. And starting small and being curious is the best way to learn. And you've just made tech feel a little less scary and a lot more exciting for other kids out there. So, what are your plans? What do you plan to pursue in the future?
In the future, I want to be an aeronautical engineer for NASA and help design rockets.
Big dreams, love it. So the future looks bright, and I can't wait to see what you build next. All right, now we have the question for parents. You can just call them on this screen. Hello, Ashrith's father, and could you share the role you have played in supporting your child's project, and how does it feel to see him create something so innovative?
Yeah, I always try to encourage curiosity in my child, and I try to give him as much space as possible to explore his ideas freely. And it was incredibly exciting to see how he took such a small problem which we all face in our households, and turned it into a project, and then he started solving it. So he had some ups and downs, but he kept researching it, and then he kept exploring it. So that's really exciting. And these kids these days, they are very quick learners, this generation especially. So he has always been exploring this and trying to see. He keeps exploring even when not in the class during the day. He keeps exploring different places at home, and he keeps telling us, it's hot here, it's hot there, it's cold here, it's cold there, and all of it. So it's really exciting to see him come up with this project and trying to solve common problem which we all face in our households.
Yeah, and that's wonderful to hear. And it's so great when parents are involved and supportive of their kids' creativity. And it must have been rewarding to see Ashrith take ownership of such an innovative project. And it really shows how much encouragement can make a difference. Thank you, Ashrith, for sharing your awesome project with us. And it's exciting to see how you're using coding and sensors to solve everyday problem in such a smart way. This is a proof that a few lines of code and some creativity can go a long way. Stay curious and keep creating. Well, Ashrith and parents, it has been such an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And it was a pleasure having you on the podcast. And see you next time.